I will be building mesh heads and converting these old rubber heads over, well, at least I'm going to do the snare and see how that goes, over to the mesh setup. And I will be going over that today, how that I'm doing this. And we will be building our own mesh heads. We will be building our plate and putting our foam on it. Because what's happened to these is I tried to fix this. You can see where I put a piece of rubber. Over a period of time, all of the cushion is gone out of these. So I got to do something, and I'm tired of hitting a rubber snare anyway. I like the mesh a lot better. But let me get into this of how we are going to do this today. And first of all, you need a sheet metal. And this sheet metal came from the side of a computer box or tire. Perfect thickness for what we need. In fact, it's the same that we were using originally. And you can see that, of course, we need the heart of the head here is a piezo transducer, which you will place right in the center. You want to prep it good. You want to sand it with a piece of sandpaper. Clean it good with a cleaner, alcohol, or something another like that. And then you want to glue it on with I've used super glue. You can use hot glue. You can use epoxy. Or you can use a real thin, fine of foam tape. Or just the double stick tape. The foam cushions it too much, and to me, in my opinion, you do not get the sound that you need to. Okay, moving to the top of this thing. The foam, this is basically the same thing as a yoga mat. But to be honest, I didn't want to buy a whole piece of, or a whole yoga mat to fix a snare drum. So what I went and done is bought a can holder, a beverage can holder or drink holder insulator. And that is basically the same thing that your yoga mat is made out of. The density is pretty close to the same. And all I done was just cut it down and took the back out, tore the back out as you can see here. And I had to piece it. I don't know how that's going to work out, but I don't see a problem with it. And to glue it down with, you need some weather stripping glue. It's kind of zigzag it over it. Because if you don't kind of get it all glued and it leaves a little empty place that doesn't have glue, it will make a smacking sound when you are playing it. Something to keep in mind. So that will make our plate, as you can see. And we will just go back with the foam originally we had and the old, as you can see there. And now we are going to build the mesh head. And I did a acoustic set of drums some time back. This is the same pattern. And this is basically how it works. We're going to fold this over. And I'm going to take these zip ties and put in each corner to try that and see how that works. And we will be using a carpenter's twine, and you will want a good size. There's the carpenter's twine, and you want the good type. You don't want the cotton type. I bought it and played the drums a little while, and they come apart because the cotton won't hold. But this is carpenter's twine that you use in chalk lines and marking off the area that you will build on. And you will need a good size needle. And basically, as I've already said, we're going to fold this over with the zip ties, and I will sew it together. And hopefully we'll have a mesh head and this will work out, but we're going to find out. You will also need a ring or a rim to fit the outer part of the drum shell here. And you want it to fit good and snug, and we're cutting down easily before you sew the mesh head on. And of course your rim will go around that then, and you can adjust the pressure up and down like this here. So I used a piece of an old gas line. I think it was off of an old junk lawnmower. Or you can use copper pipe. You could use a piece of copper wire. Anything that will fit here that you can put pressure on the mesh head. Now we are fixing to sew our mesh head onto our shell or our ring that we built. Now you want about an inch and a half hangover to where you can fold this over and sew it on this inner side. As you can see that I'm starting. Now the white thread, we have a solution to that in a little while. We will color it. And then we use the little 4 ties to hold it in place to make it a little easier sewed. Okay, when we start this sewing off, you want to, as you can see these little holes here, you want to run the thread through and then back through and then tie it in a knot to start off. That'll keep your thread from pulling out. And then ever so often apart, about like this, I don't know, that's about 1/8 of an inch or a little more apart. But you want to sew it all the way around. And let's get this thing sewed up. Now we have our mesh head sewn, as you can see, and the ties cut out from around it, and all the excess mesh trim. And now what we're going to do is take this magic marker, and we just simply are going to color this in like that. Look at that. And you can do it with a black thread if you have it. Probably be easier. But I didn't have it and I went with what I had. So there you have it. And we will get these things put together and hope they work. Okay, we are now to assembly on this electric drum 8-inch snare. We are converting it over to a mesh setup, hopefully. Now I have just wired this up. In most cases it's the red to the red and the black to the black. And that's great. But I want to say something though. Sometimes you want to see, when I tap this side, you're not hearing anything. But see, when we go over to the other side, it works. Now if it was not to work and you tap it here and it works, you might need to just convert your wires around. And I will leave you a wiring diagram on this that normally how it would wire. You will also want to make sure that your wires is placed where it cannot flop around and break. So you might want to put a little some type of tape on it that's got good sticky on it. and you'll be good to go with that. Now we have our snare completed, it together and on, and we are ready to see if this thing works right.